everyone. Now again I'm back with my channel Awesome Learning, and today we are going to discuss about thrombocytes, that is platelets, and coagulation of blood. I have taken these two topics all together, though in your NCRT these two topics are not in continuation, but I have taken it as one topic because coagulation of blood is directly related to thrombocytes, that is blood platelets. So let's start with first the introduction of what are thrombocytes or platelets, and then the procedure of coagulation of blood. Okay. So children, in your NCRT, as you see, there is a very small paragraph about thrombocytes just where you finish with your WBCC. Platelets, also called thrombocytes. So you must know that as RBCs are known as erythrocytes, WBCs are known as leukocytes. Similarly, platelets are known as thrombocytes. Okay. All cell are the cell fragments produced from megakaryocytes. These are the special cells, children, again in the bone marrow. So thrombocytes are also formed in the bone marrow. Some special cells present in the bone marrow, they give rise to platelets or thrombocytes. Okay. So blood normally contains how many thrombocytes? From 1.5 lakh to 3.5 lakh platelets in millimeter cube of blood, which is a normal range of platelets in our body. Okay. Platelets can release a variety of substances, most of which are involved in coagulation or clotting of blood, which we will be doing in the topic now. A reduction. Now children, you must have seen, as we are aware that during few diseases like dengue, chikungunya and other problems now, we have seen this, that dropping down of platelets is not a good sign. So if our platelets are reduced below 1.5 lakhs, then doctor says that it is a thing which is to be worried about. So reduction in their number can lead to clotting disorders, which will lead to excessive loss of blood from the body. Sometimes internal bleeding can occur, which is very fatal. That is, the patient can die because of excessive internal bleeding. And why has this internal bleeding occurred? Because the platelets have reduced to very minimum quantity. Okay. So this was regarding thrombocytes or platelets. You see here, they are colorless. Their lifespan is 7 days. And how much count? I already told you, from 1.5 to 3.5 lakh per millimeter cube. This is the normal range of platelets. They are formed in megakaryocytes in the bone marrow. Structure again non-nucleated. They too do not have nucleus. So that means out of 3 blood cells, only WBCs have the nucleus. And what is the main function of platelet? That is blood clotting. So now the next topic we will be doing here is coagulation of blood. You see, which is in your NCRT also. Coagulation of blood we will be doing here. Just let me take it out. Yeah, this is your coagulation of blood, and here blood coagulation and the steps which we will be doing. So children, you know that when you cut your finger or hurt yourself, your wound does not continue to bleed for longer times. You have seen that sometimes you have cuts, and after sometimes though this happens that we do not even take some medicine or put some medicine, apne aap the clotting stops, the blood stops running out. Okay. Now why did this happen? Why the running of out of blood from the wound stopped? Usually the blood stops following after some time. Now blood exhibits coagulation or clotting in response to an injury or trauma. This is mechanism to prevent excessive loss of blood from the body. You have observed a dark reddish brown scum. Now you must have seen, आप लोगों को कभी चोट लगी हो, you have seen that on that wound, when the blood stops, you have seen a small, the whole area of that wound, a scum is formed. रेडिश एक लेयर हो जाती है, the running of blood stops and there is a layer which is reddish. Now after some time that reddish or brown scum will become black and it will be dried, and after some time that black portion will also be removed and you will get a new skin just below that wound. You have seen that. So children, that scum, you see, formed at the site of cut or injury over a period of time, it is a clot. That scum or that reddish brown layer on the wound is the clot or the coagulum, formed by many network of threads. You see, this is what is network of threads. Can you see? If you see that scum under the microscope, this is what will you will see on the wound. So network of threads. Now what are these threads, children? These are the fibrins. These threads you see in the picture are the fibrins, okay, and in which you see in these threads you see certain things are trapped. Can you see? Few cells you can see are trapped in between these fibrins. So they write here that there is a network of thread called fibrins in which dead and damaged cells, formed elements means RBCs, WBCs of the blood, are trapped, as you see here in the diagram. Fibrins are formed by the conversion of inactive fibrinogens. Now children, now here from this line the step starts. These are the steps which are followed during the blood coagulation. You see what happens at the site of injury. Wherever you have an injury, there will be clumped platelets and tissues. Wherever you have an injury, clumped means together, clumped platelets and tissues. Now as soon as the tissues and platelets are clumped or there is a cut, they will release thromboplastin. These platelets will release thromboplastin. Okay, now this thromboplastin forms thrombokinase or prothrombokinases enzyme will be used, and this thromboplastin in presence of calcium ions will get converted into this will convert prothrombin into thrombin. So thromboplastin forms thrombokinase, which is an enzyme. This thrombokinase in presence of calcium ions, it will convert inactive prothrombin into thrombin which is active. This active thrombin will now again convert fibrinogen which was present in the blood in the soluble form. This thrombin will convert this fibrinogen into fibrin which is now insoluble, and the fibers will be visible. Now because the fibrins or the fibers are now visible, there will be a tangled mass of fibrils where in which some dead and damaged formed elements like RBCs or WBCs will get trapped. Now the fibrin or the fibers along with the trapped formed elements or cells, this is how the picture will look like. They both will combine and they will form a clot or a coagulum. See, a clot or a coagulum is formed. This is how coagulation can take place. Okay, now you see coagulation in steps. They show platelets. These are the small, you see the small black circles are the platelets. These are the red blood cells, and this is a broken vessel. Injury has taken place here. Now as there is a cut or injury, the red blood cells will ooze out. Now as soon as the red blood cells ooze out and these platelets are also you see coming out, they will release thromboplastin. Now this thromboplastin will form thrombokinase, or you also say prothrombokinases enzyme. Now in presence of this enzyme and in presence of calcium ion, this is very important, the calcium ions, in presence of these two things, prothrombin, which was inactive in the blood, already present in the blood, this prothrombin gets activated into thrombin. Now this active thrombin will convert fibrinogen in which is soluble form. This will convert fibrinogen into fibrin, which is insoluble, and this fibrins or the fibers along with dead and damaged cells of blood will form clot or coagulant or coagulum. You see the pictures, injury or damage, vessels contract, the vessels contract here during at the portion of damage, the vessels, you see the diameter has been reduced. Now plug has been formed, and this plug is now formed properly, and this will now dry out after some time, and the wound will heal up easily. So blood clotting leads to hemostasis. You see, blood clotting will lead to hemostasis. What is hemostasis? Balance is there now. Due to the clot, there is a balance. The osmotic pressure outside and inside is same. Now, why did the blood vessel constrict here? You see, because there was no homeostasis. Osmotic pressures will be different now. Why? Because the blood is coming out. So pressure inside and outside will be different. That is why the blood vessel has been constricted. But after the plug has been formed, again the blood vessel has come to its original shape. Why? Because due to clotting, hemostasis has been occurred, which is the equilibrium of osmotic pressure on both the sides, inside the vessel and outside the blood vessels. So this was about blood coagulation or clotting of blood along with platelets and thrombocytes. So this point, along with clotting of blood, you should also say that platelets or this clotting mechanism not only prevents the loss of blood, it also helps to maintain homeostasis, prevention of blood loss through injuries. Okay, thank you.